Good morning, beloveds. I'm sorry, I'm not timing myself as well in the mornings right now. My routine's a little broken. I basically I get up, I go for a walk since I can't run right now, and it's a short walk. It's an abbreviated walk. And then I come home and I do my physical therapy, and then I ice my knee. And so I was like, I looked at the clock and I was like, okay, I have 3 more minutes under the ice. And then I looked at the clock and I was like, it's 9 o'clock, I gotta go. So fortunately for me, today my husband is home. He alternates Fridays. He either goes to work at 7 o'clock in the morning or he's here. And this happens to be one of the Fridays that he's home, and so I left him with the ice. And he went and put it in the freezer for me, because but that's what's going on, and it's working. I'm impatient, but I'm not as good at hardball metaphysics as I would like to be. I'm not Emma, where I can look at my knee and go, this is not the divine plan. The divine plan is for my knee to be perfect, So I am going to let my body do it appropriately with the care of the physical therapy and the ice and the doctor, and yeah. And then just knowing that it will heal. It is healing now. It's definitely one of the traps of being like a science of mind minister. It's like, well, if I can't heal myself, then how could I possibly do this work for anybody else? And then so there are thoughts about that. And I've seen, practitioners and ministers have that. Well, if this condition that I'm dealing with, if I can't heal it, then how can I possibly? And that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Partly because sometimes we have internal things and we just have to work through things naturally. Because pain is information. So, just because I'm taking some time to work my knee doesn't mean that I'm going to be ineffective with somebody else. And the one person, in fact, frequently, it's easier to treat for somebody else than it is to treat for yourself, because you wear blinders when it comes to yourself as to what you actually need. So, if if you run into that where it's easier to treat for somebody else than it is for yourself, know that we all have that issue. We absolutely all have that issue, because and I would have a little bit of a theory that it's a little bit to do with sometimes it's easier to love somebody else than it is to love yourself. So just think about that, and then we will move on into October 23rd. And our title is, I am held in the goodness of God. I know that there is no influence, either visible or invisible, other than the influence of pure spirit, acting perfectly upon all people. I know that there is no presence but love, and no power but the creative spirit, which has neither enemy nor opposite. Goodness, joy, peace, and peace abide with me today. I believe that every affirmation I make will immediately take effect in my life. I fill every statement with joy. Therefore, I expect joyful happenings. That's period. I expect joyful happenings. I fill every statement with love. Therefore, I anticipate love in all relationships. I fill every statement with kindness, with tolerance, with divine understanding. Therefore, I expect all my relationships to be harmonious. I believe with a deep inward calm that my word of faith is the execution of spiritual law in my life. I know that my word penetrates any and every unbelief in my thought. It casts out fear, removes doubt, and permits that which is enduring, perfect, and true to enter into my consciousness. I have complete conviction that my thoughts will be carried out in my experience with certainty. I have absolute reliance upon the law of good. I know that it will bring everything desirable into my experience. Today I proclaim my divine inheritance. I am rich with the richness of God. I am strong with the power of God. I am guided by the wisdom of God. I am held in the goodness of God today. Well, there you go. Those last few sentences are absolutely, if you are working on, I was going to say a new project, but honestly, if you're working on anything, and you're at any stage up to and including right there at the very end, those are some statements to say. I'm taking heartfelt living, and we just did the week on affirmations, and that's exactly what those are. Those are short, punchy, as Reverend Jesse likes to say, short, punchy, that you can really wrap some feeling around. Yeah. That, in fact, I would say that his titles for the entire month of October, that's what they've been. They've been fantastic affirmations. He tends to write really long sentences, so when he writes the short ones, I'll get thrown off going, oh, wait, that is a period. Let me end that sentence. I know that there is no influence, either visible or invisible, other than the influence of pure spirit, acting perfectly upon all people. Okay, now that first sentence is like, then you stop and think, but think about it this way. In science of mind, we don't believe in duality. Therefore, we don't believe that there is a power as great as God or great as spirit. We don't believe in the devil. We're not saying that there is not evil. What we are saying is there's not a power of evil. What evil is people making choices and misusing the law. So there is no influence, either visible or invisible, other than the influence of pure spirit. So the only influence out there is good. The problem is that that people can make choices that are not good. They can misuse the law. They can misuse the influence of spirit. It also says acting perfectly on all people. So, oh yeah, we influence each other. But that's not pure spirit acting perfectly upon all people. That is somebody misusing the law, misusing spirit on a sometimes very large group of people, but we'll let that go. I know that there is no presence but love, no power but the creative spirit, which has neither enemy nor opposite. That's what I mean. There's no devil. There's no Satan, there's no Lucifer, there's no... In fact, if you go back and read the Bible, first off, Lucifer is an angel who made a choice and made a misuse of the law. If you read Job, Satan is an office. Satan is like a lawyer. So they, at no time are they ever the same power as God. So they are not truly powers. There is only one power, and that is spirit. That is God. That is whatever word you want to use. The devil and Lucifer and Satan and all of those words, those are not powers. I'm not going to debate whether or not they exist. I'm simply stating that they are not a power like God. They are beings, we'll go that way, that that are making choices and misusing the law. Okay, goodness, joy, and peace abide with me today. Affirmation. I believe that every affirmation I that I make will immediately take effect in my life. And so I believe that every affirmation will take effect will take effect in my experience. Maybe not immediately. And that comes down to my belief. If I believe it'll happen immediately with all my heart and soul, then it will happen immediately. And if I don't, it will still happen. It just may take a little more time. And that's me. That's not spirit. That is me. That is my level of belief. That is my level of consciousness. That's what I tell people when they come into the health food store. It's like, we are providing nutrition for your body to do its job. It's not going to work immediately because your body has to come up to the level that it should have been. And that's, so, but if they have the spiritual consciousness that it'll work immediately, absolutely it'll work immediately. If they have the spiritual consciousness. I fill every statement with joy. That's the power of. That's what Jesse was talking last night. Thought is the direction and feeling is the energy when you do treatment. Therefore, I anticipate love in all relationships. I fill every statement with kindness, with tolerance, with divine understanding. Therefore, I expect all of my relationships to be harmonious. And if you fill with joy, if you fill with love, if you fill with kindness, if you fill with tolerance, then that is what is going to happen. The people who interact with you are going to feel that, and they are going to respond to that. And if you fill it with anything else, they're going to respond to that too. So sometimes it may have to do with, if you want to change how you're interacting with people, the only person you have control over is you. So, fill yourself with the joy and the love and the peace and I hear myself talking to myself. And that will change the way people interact with you. It's like, if you come at them all bowed up, then they're going to bow up. And if you come at them gently with kindness and loving tolerance, they may still bow up, but they're going to think about it. All right. I believe with a deep inward calm that my word of faith is the execution of spiritual law in my life. That is the clearest statement on what Ernest believes about science of mind. Deep inward calm that my word of faith is the execution of spiritual law. It's like, my words have power. Your words have power. And the more feeling that you put behind them, the more power that they are going to have. And the more positive, good feelings you put behind them. Well, actually, the law doesn't know positive or negative. The law only knows intensity. So beware of that. I know that my word penetrates any and every unbelief in my thought. It casts out fear, removes doubts, and permits that which is enduring, perfect, and true to enter into my consciousness. So, I know that my word penetrates any and every unbelief. I have a visualization for you. When you are thinking about your word and you're thinking about those negative thoughts, think about them like balloons, and your word is a pin. And so you are popping those balloons into nothing. All right. I have complete conviction that all my thoughts will be carried out in my experience with certainty. I can have complete conviction that all my thoughts will be carried out. Okay, and then they're right there. It's like, oh, hang on. I might want to go back and review my thoughts a little bit. But if you've been doing your work, then your thoughts are more going. If you've been doing your spiritual work, as he has done all the way through this book, then you have been doing you've been weeding your thoughts, and so then it's less of a pause to think, okay, well, do I really want that thought? Because fewer of them are showing up. Your thoughts are going to trend more towards good if you've been doing your spiritual work. I have absolute reliance upon the law of good. I know that it will bring everything desirable into my experience. Statement. Okay, and here we are. Today, I proclaim my divine inheritance. I am rich with the richness of God. I am strong with the power of God. I am guided by the wisdom of God. I am held in the goodness of God today. Whew. So, there's so many choices for a mission today. Wow, yeah. In this, it's just one long power statement. So what is our mission today? Okay, I think I will go with this one. Our mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to know that there is no presence but love and no power but the creative the creative spirit. To let go of that duality that we have been trained in from probably our earliest memories. I mean, if you were raised with any religion at all, especially Western religion, then you were trained that there are two powers, and there's not. There's only one. There's only spirit. Everything is made from spirit, and the law doesn't judge. So the choice that you make and the use that you make of the law that's on you. That's on you. They were talking about we are the personal responsibility. Now, there are boundaries because we are in relationship with others. And so we are going to butt up against others' use of the law. And that's where our responsibility lies. And that's where our power lies into managing those boundaries. So if you're butting up against somebody who's making not the best use of the law, then put your boundary up and keep them at arm's length. There's no shame in your game if you have to let people out of your life until they come to the realization of who they are. And the best thing that we can do for people like that is to put them in a safe place for us and to know who they are, to treat that they recognize who they are. It's like, you are a child of God, and I'm going to know that and hold that space for you until you know it yourself. And that is especially more important right now as we are in an election season and, feelings are running hot. So that's my 2 cents worth. But I am going to suggest, as I always do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. We may get a little bit of a cool front into tonight, so it might be really nice tomorrow morning. And then the weather's going to be, so over the next week, that we've seen the last of the 90s. I almost hate to say it because I know the weather here in Texas. It's like, wait 15 minutes and it'll change. So do something that engages your mind and your body today. It's nice enough. Open your windows, get some fresh air, go outside, get some fresh air, get a fresh perspective. Allow the fresh air to blow the cobwebs out. Although right now it is Halloween season and there may be extra cobwebs for decoration. But open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you live in heaven now. To remind you that you are a beloved child of God in whom Spirit is well pleased. Always and forever. All right. Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you today. I will be back around 9 a.m. and you may get another car stream because tomorrow is Drive to Cyprus to have this whatever managed a bit. So I'll have a different background. All right, beloveds. Have a wonderful day. Rita says hi.